The agenda of this webinar is to understand what project integration management is all about and to get an overview of integration management and the processes involved. Project integration management is one of the knowledge areas in the PMP project management framework. The PMP framework, known for its best practices, is widely accepted across the globe. It consists of 10 knowledge areas, 5 process groups, and 49 processes as defined in the latest edition of the PMBOK. Project integration management is a knowledge area that includes processes and activities to identify, define, combine, unify, and coordinate various project management processes and activities within the project management process groups. The project manager is often referred to as the project integrator because they need to have an end-to-end view of the project. They must perform the necessary activities to manage the project while having visibility of the entire project at any given point. The project manager should be able to determine what needs to be done and ensure that the project is progressing as defined. This visibility is crucial to successful project integration management. Integration management also involves various trends and emerging practices, such as the use of automated tools, visual management tools, project knowledge management, and expanding project management responsibilities. Hybrid methodologies are also considered. When adopting the PMP project management best practice framework, it is essential to understand the specific project life cycle being followed. This life cycle could involve a product, a service, or a specific result that is the outcome of the project. A product or service, for example, will have its own life cycle, during which various project life cycles may occur. A project life cycle begins with a start date and ends with a finish date. Multiple project life cycles can occur within a single product or service life cycle. Throughout these life cycles, several approaches such as quality management, risk management, scope management, cost management, schedule management, and procurement management are required. These approaches need to be defined as part of the planning phase and integrated into project integration management. Knowledge management plays a critical role in every project. It involves capturing knowledge from completed projects that can be applied to current projects, reducing the need to reinvent solutions. Similarly, during the current project, it is important to capture all learnings, including what went well, what challenges arose, and how issues were resolved. In this way, project management is essentially a change management process. Every project produces a specific product or service that introduces changes to the environment. Project management ensures that these changes are implemented properly while considering the project's environment and its dynamics. Additionally, change management also involves considering the impact on the baselines defined for the project. To ensure clarity, we must differentiate between the changes happening within a project and those that affect the project itself. It's important not to confuse these two types of changes. One type of change brings about a shift in the project's norm, while the other involves changes to the defined aspects of the project, such as its baseline. We need to be careful in understanding that both types of changes are not the same. Each requires specific attention, as every investment made by an organization needs to be justified. Similarly, each project will have its own investment, which must also be justified. This investment aligns with the specific directions set by the organization. A governing body is often responsible for ensuring that the project aligns with the organization's goals. The body monitors whether the project is fulfilling the direction laid out by the organization. It is crucial that there is proper governance over every project. Each project produces outputs, whether products or services, and the outcomes should create value or benefits. If the intended benefits are not realized, the investment in the project doesn't make sense. This realization of benefits needs to be confirmed throughout the project life cycle. These confirmations should happen at the start, during delivery, and even after the project is completed. The product or service created by the project should function as expected to ensure that the benefits are realized, and the integration of management processes should be in place. Project integration management includes 7 processes, as defined in the PMBOK 6th edition. These processes include develop project charter, initiating process group, develop project management plan, planning process group, direct and manage project work, executing process group, manage project knowledge, executing process group, monitor and control project work, monitoring and controlling process group, perform integrated change control, monitoring and controlling process group. These processes help ensure that all aspects of a project are integrated and managed effectively throughout its life cycle. And control process group, but as close project or phase is a process which is defined as part of the closing process group defined in PMP. So develop project charter. As I mentioned earlier, develop project charter is a process that is in the initiating process group. The aim of this process is to develop the project charter, which basically means the creation of a formal document that has to be developed. This document should be helpful in authorizing the existence of the project, which means the assignment of a project manager will happen as part of this particular process. It's crucial to create the project charter before beginning project implementation. The charter serves as a roadmap for the project, giving the project manager authority over resources. It also connects the project to the organization's broader objectives, ensuring that every project aligns with organizational goals. The inputs for developing a project charter include the business case, the benefits management plan, and agreements, among others. These inputs help define the project's initial intentions and take into account the external factors that could impact the project, such as legal, regulatory, and market conditions, as well as the organization's culture and environment. Additionally, lessons learned from past projects can help shape the project charter. All of these elements are necessary to create a comprehensive project charter. To develop the charter, tools such as expert judgment are used. This involves consulting with domain experts who are knowledgeable about the specific area of the project. Their input and feedback are crucial for ensuring the charter reflects the best possible approach to the project. Data gathering involves collecting information from various inputs. This includes the details of the projects we mentioned earlier, along with specific information related to that data gathering. Next, we focus on interpersonal and team skills. This is important because it requires interacting with different individuals, each with their own skills and expertise. We must understand the stakeholders involved, including how to connect with them and ensure the objectives of the project are captured effectively. This can be done through meetings and collaboration, ensuring that all necessary details are gathered. The output of this process is the development of the project charter. A project charter outlines the project scope and key elements. It's important to also note the assumptions and considerations made while developing the project charter, which should be clearly articulated. Moving on, the next process is the development of the project management plan. This process is part of the planning phase, where the goal is to create a comprehensive plan for managing the project. There are 10 knowledge areas that make up the project management framework. Each knowledge area contributes to a plan that is developed specifically for that area. For example, scope management will have its own plan, and cost management will have a separate plan. These plans are known as subsidiary plans. These subsidiary plans are then integrated into the project management plan, which is a process within the integration management knowledge area. The purpose of this process is to consolidate all these plans, define, prepare, and coordinate all plan components, and ultimately integrate them into the project management plan. The key advantage of developing a project management plan is that it serves as a roadmap for the entire project team. It provides clear directions and objectives, helping everyone stay aligned and focused. This plan also becomes a baseline, offering a specific direction that helps the project move towards its defined goal. With a unified goal in mind, the likelihood of project success increases. Inputs for developing the project management plan include the project charter, which is an output from the develop project charter process. This process is part of the integration management knowledge area. Additionally, outputs from other processes, as well as subsidiary plans from the various knowledge areas, will serve as inputs. Enterprise environmental factors and organizational process assets also play a role in this process. The tools used during this process include expert judgment, data gathering, and interpersonal team skills. Meetings are also held to finalize the plan. The output of developing the project management plan is the project management plan itself. This plan consolidates all the subsidiary plans and provides a clear framework for the project's execution. It ensures that all aspects of the project are aligned, making execution smoother and easier. This plan becomes the ultimate baseline for the project. The next process is to direct and manage the project work. This falls under the executing process group within the integration management knowledge area. In this process, the project manager provides direction and manages the work being carried out by the project team. Although the project manager does not perform the work themselves, they oversee the entire project, ensuring that it is executed according to plan. The process helps in directing the project work and making necessary changes to meet the project's goals. This also increases the probability of success by ensuring the project stays on the right track and meets the quality standards. This process is followed throughout the project life cycle. Inputs to direct and manage project work include the project management plan, which is the output of the develop project management plan process. It also includes various project documents within the same knowledge area, such as the change log, lessons learned register, milestone list, and project communications. Additionally, the project schedule, requirements traceability matrix, risk register, and risk metrics report are also part of the inputs. Now, you might ask, where do the disapproved change requests come from when I am in the direct and manage project work process? This process comes after the development of the project management plan. If you visualize the entire project, there might be some deviations found at any point during the project. These deviations can be identified during monitoring and control processes such as auditing or testing. These need to be corrected and corrective action must be taken. If there are changes that need to be made, a change request will be raised, which goes through the integrated change management process in the monitoring and control process group. Once the change request is evaluated and approved, it becomes an input to the direct and manage project work process to ensure necessary corrective actions are taken. Preventive actions can also be part of this process, which involve proactive measures or controlling certain aspects to ensure things happen as planned. These actions, including corrective actions and defect repairs, are typically done through the change approval process and will be implemented as part of the integrated change management process. The execution of these actions is directed and managed by the project manager. Enterprise environmental factors and organizational processes will also come as inputs. Tools used in the direct and manage project work process include expert judgment, project management information systems, and meetings. The outputs of this process include deliverables, which are the actual products or results produced, and work performance data, which shows how the project is progressing. It reflects what is being created, what is in progress, and the status of the project at any given time. Issue logs capture all deviations and their corrective measures. These logs are managed and tracked by the project manager to ensure that issues are properly addressed during execution. Change requests may also be raised when deviations are found and corrections are needed. These will lead to updates to the project management plan, project documents, and organizational process assets. For example, a template or lesson learned may need to be updated as part of the project, and this information will be stored in the organizational process assets repository for future reference. The next process is Manage Project Knowledge. This process was introduced in the 6th edition of the PMBOK Guide, which defines how to manage project knowledge. Knowledge refers to know-how. It's important to note that knowledge is not the same as information. Information gives you the message, while knowledge provides the steps or actions required to do something. In a project, you may need to define and understand the steps involved in resolving an issue or implementing something. These steps should be carefully defined to ensure the integrity of the process is maintained, and they should not be tampered with. It's important to change the steps without proper approval. These changes need to be correctly ensured and acknowledged to maintain the knowledge created for the project. Managing project knowledge is essential to achieve the project objectives as defined and agreed upon. This will make it easier to ensure that there is no ambiguity while executing the project, and it can also serve as a reference for future learning. This is primarily done by using historical or existing organizational data and updating or correcting the current knowledge. This needs to be done regularly, as it helps to improve the overall knowledge within the organization and enhances project results. As we discussed, there will be things done during the project that are defined and need to be maintained. This includes capturing lessons learned and ensuring they are not tampered with. These lessons need to be available whenever required, both in the current and future projects being conducted by the organization. Inputs to managing the project knowledge process include the project management plan and various project documents, such as the lessons learned register, project team assignments, resource breakdown structure, stakeholder register, and the deliverables produced throughout the project's life cycle. Tools used in managing project knowledge include expert judgment, knowledge management tools, interpersonal and team skills, and information management outputs. These outputs would be updates to the lessons learned register, the project management plan, and other relevant documents based on the learnings gathered during the project. Now, let's talk about monitoring and controlling project work. This process is part of the monitoring and controlling process group in the integration management knowledge area. It helps achieve the performance objectives defined in the project management plan. It ensures that all deliverables are met according to the defined standards. Throughout the project life cycle, this process tracks progress and reports on the overall status of the project. It gives stakeholders a clear idea of how the project is progressing and whether it is on schedule, within budget, and using resources efficiently. Identified risks are also monitored and managed according to the plan. As we discussed earlier, there are 9 knowledge areas in project management. To reiterate, these are scope management, cost management, schedule management, resource management, quality management, risk management, procurement management, communication management, and stakeholder management. Monitoring and controlling project work involves processes within all of these knowledge areas. This process consolidates control activities to ensure everything defined in these 9 knowledge areas is monitored and checked. The inputs to this process would include documents like the assumptions log, basis of estimates, cost forecasts, lessons learned register, milestone list, and quality reports. Work performance information is a key input here, as it involves process data that provides specific insights into monitoring and controlling project work. Other inputs may include agreements, enterprise environmental factors, and organizational process assets. The tools used for monitoring and controlling the project work include expert judgment, decision-making, data analysis, and meetings. It is very important to collect data, process it, and see how the particular project is progressing. We need to understand the current state, compare it to the original plan, and identify any deviations. By doing this, we can take necessary actions to ensure the project stays on track. As the project moves forward, we need to determine if we need to make corrections to bring the project back on track or if we can continue with the current course. The outputs of monitoring and controlling project work include work performance reports, change requests, updates to the project management plan, and updates to project documents. Work performance reports are created with a specific objective. These reports are used to communicate with the team, update management, or inform the customer. Depending on the context, work performance reports are created, and templates for these reports are defined as part of the planning process. A change request is an output because deviations may be discovered during project monitoring and controlling. If a deviation is found, a change request is raised to correct it. The process of integrated change control is then performed. This process checks whether the change request makes sense and if it is necessary. which include understanding the reason for the change, the return on investment, risks associated with the change, and responsibilities related to the change. It is important to address these aspects when managing changes. Integrated change control helps to manage all the changes received throughout the project life cycle. Approved changes, modifications to deliverables, project documents, and the project management plan are reviewed during this process. This ensures that we maintain an integrated document that tracks all changes while assessing any risks associated with the new changes. The inputs to the process include the project management plan, which consists of the change management plan, configuration management plan, scope baseline, schedule baseline, cost baseline, and project documents. These documents help assess and monitor project risks and performance. Tools used in this process include expert judgment, change control tools, decision-making, meetings, and data analysis. The outputs of integrated change control are approved change requests and updates to the project management plan and project documents. If you look closely, the input to this process is the change request, and the output is the approved change request. This means all change requests are carefully reviewed before approval. Once a change request is approved, it becomes an input for the direct and manage project work process. The implementation of the change happens during this phase. After the change is implemented, the project moves to the closing phase, where activities such as finalizing contracts and completing work are carried out. It's important to remember that when we talk about closing, it is not just about the overall project closure, but also about closing specific phases. Projects have multiple phases, and each phase needs to be closed when it is completed. Closing a phase means completing the planned work, releasing resources, and ensuring all project information is properly preserved. This ensures a successful wrap-up of the project or its phase. The same process is triggered by the inputs. The inputs to this process would be the project charter, project management plan, and project documents, as well as the acceptance of the deliverables. Other inputs should include business documents, such as the business case, benefits management plan, and agreements, as well as procurement documents. Organizational process assets are also necessary. The tools used during the close project or phase process would include expert judgment, meetings, and data analysis. The outputs of the close project or phase process would be project document updates, the final product, service, or result transition, the final report, and updates to operational performance information. If we closely observe this list of outputs, you'll notice that an accepted deliverable is not listed as an output. You also don't see the results of the project as an output. Instead, it's the final product, service, or result transition. This means that the acceptance of the particular product, service, or results created as part of the project has already been shown to the customer or stakeholders, and the necessary signatures required for acceptance have been obtained. Only after that will the close project or phase process be triggered to complete all the necessary activities to formally declare the phase or the entire project as complete. This is how the Integration Management Knowledge Area is defined in the PMIS, as outlined in the PMBOK, which is part of the Project Management Professional Certification Program.